The police told my parents. I was lucky. Then they showed them the footage. My mom collapsed. Because I was never alone in that house. Not for a single second. I'm going to tell you what was on those tapes. And I need you to understand, I lived through every single second of it. I just didn't know. In the fall of 2016, I was 12 years old. We lived in a split-level house in a quiet suburb just outside Rochester, New York. My parents both worked. Mom was a nurse doing swing shifts at Strong Memorial. Dad managed a warehouse near the port. Every weekday I got home from school around 3. I'd let myself in, lock the door, do my homework, heat up dinner, watch TV. My parents got home around 8. 5 hours alone, every single day, for months. It was normal, boring even, but I always felt off, like the house was holding its breath. Around me, like the air behind me was just slightly heavier than the air in front. I told myself it was nothing. I was a kid with an imagination. That's all. In March, packages started disappearing from our front porch. Dad got frustrated and bought a home security system, 4 cameras, 1 in the living room, 1 in the kitchen, 1 covering the hallway, and 1 in my parents' bedroom, angled toward the window. He set everything up on a Saturday. The system stored footage on a hard drive in the garage. The following Friday night, he sat down at his desk to review the first week of recordings. He called the police within 20 minutes. Here's what the cameras showed. Every single day, Monday through Friday, within 5 minutes of me coming home and locking the front door, a man crawled out from under my parents' bed. He moved slowly, deliberately. He'd stand, stretch, then walk into the hallway. When I was in the kitchen making a snack, he stood just around the corner, watching. When I moved to the living room, he stepped into the kitchen. Always 1 room behind me, always watching. He never touched anything, never took anything, never made a single sound. When I went to the bathroom, he stood outside the door, motionless, waiting. When I sat on the couch to watch TV, he stood directly behind the couch, inches from my head, sometimes for 45 minutes. I'd be laughing at some show, completely unaware, and he was right there, close enough to touch my hair. Then, every night, exactly 10 minutes before my parents' car pulled into the driveway, he crawled back under their bed. Like clockwork. The police estimated he had been doing this for 7 months. 7 months, over 100 afternoons of him walking behind me, through my own home. During those months, I slept in my parents' bed several times. Whenever I got scared, and I did get scared, though I never understood why, I'd curl up under their covers and fall asleep waiting for them to come home. I was lying directly above him. He was underneath me, awake, listening to me breathe. But the clip that broke my mother, the one that made her legs give out, right there in the police station, was from a Tuesday afternoon in February. I was doing homework on my parents' bedroom floor. I dropped a pencil. It rolled under the bed. I reached down to grab it. On the camera, you can see my hand stretch under the bed frame, my fingers reaching, searching blindly for the pencil. And from the darkness underneath, another hand reaches up, his hand, slowly, fingers extending toward mine. They almost touch. I find the pencil and pull my hand back. His hand slowly, so slowly retreats into the dark. I sit up. I keep doing my homework. I never knew I was inches away from the man who had been shadowing me for 7 months, and I just went back to long division. They found him 3 days later. He'd been entering through a basement window that didn't latch properly. He had no prior connection to our family, no explanation that made any sense. The detectives told my dad that in their entire careers, they had never seen anything like it. We moved out that weekend. I haven't set foot in that house since. I'm 20 now. I still can't be in a room alone without checking behind me, and I check under every bed I sleep in, every single 1. People ask me if I'm over it. I tell them the truth. You don't get over learning. You were never actually alone. Because sometimes the thing you're afraid of isn't hiding in the dark. It's already in the room, with you. When I turned around, I realized it hadn't been my shadow on the wall. Shadows don't breathe. I was 8 years old. What happened that afternoon in our house in Dayton, Ohio, is something I've carried for over 20 years. I'm 31 now. I haven't touched a crayon since. You'll understand why. October 2001. We lived in a pale yellow ranch house on Willowbrook Drive, a quiet street on the east side of Dayton. My parents both pulled second shift at the GM plant in Moraine. Between 3:30 and 6, I was home alone, latchkey kid. I'd lock the front door, make a snack, and sit on the living room floor with my crayons. That afternoon, the house was still. Late sun poured through the front window, stretching everything into long golden shapes on the far wall. My backpack, the lamp, the old wooden coat rack near the hallway, and me, small, hunch over a sheet of paper, drawing a picture of our house. No TV, no radio, just the scratch of crayon on paper. I glanced up to check my shadow. I used to do that, watch my own shape while I drew. But there were two shapes on the wall. Mine, small and low, and behind it, another, tall, thin, standing straight up. I figured it was the coat rack, the old wooden kind, with arms like branches. I went back to drawing. Then the shadow shifted. Not the way light drifts when the sun moves. This was sudden, deliberate, like someone adjusting their weight from one foot to the other. I stop drawing. My crayon hovers above the paper. I stare at the wall. The shadow is shaped like a person, not a coat rack. A person, tall, arms at its sides, head tilted slightly like it's looking down at me. I don't move. I don't breathe. Then I feel it, warm from the back of my neck. Not cold, not the way ghost stories always describe it. Warm, damp, like someone's open mouth hovering inches from my skin. Slow, steady, in, out. Something is standing directly behind me. Every nerve fires one instruction: do not turn around. I can't explain how I knew. I just did. The way you know not to touch a flame. If I turn around, something terrible will happen. I stand up slowly. My eyes never leave the wall. I take one step toward the front door. Behind me, the hardwood creaks. One creak, perfectly timed with mine. I take another step. Another creak follows, patient, measured. Whatever is behind me matches me stride for stride. I don't run. Not yet. Eyes forward, hands shaking. 5 steps to the door. 4, 3. The warmth of my neck grows closer. Years later, I pull the property records for that house. A family lived there before us. They had a son, same age I was. They moved out in 1997, after the boy started drawing pictures of something he called the tall man. Faces without eyes, doors opening onto nothing. His mother told the realtor. Her son talked to a shadow on the wall. The file ends there. No forwarding address. The records just stop. I grab the doorknob, twist, pull. Daylight floods in. I throw myself outside, down the porch steps, across the yard, into the street. I collapse on the curb across from our house, and I do not move. For 2 hours I sit there, shaking, silent, staring at my wide-open front door. Nothing comes out. My dad searches every room that night, every closet, the attic, the crawl space. Nothing. No one. But my drawing is still on the living room floor, and next to it, in crayon, in handwriting that isn't mine, 5 words. You who'd have turned around. My dad stared at it, threw it away, told me I wrote it myself and forgot. I didn't forget. That wasn't my handwriting. We moved 4 months later. My parents said it was for a job, but I saw my mother's face the next morning when she found every crayon in the house snapped in half and lined up across the kitchen counter. end to end, perfectly spaced. No one talked about it. We never went back. I'm 31 now. I live in Portland, Oregon. I sleep with every light on. I never turned around that afternoon, but some nights lying in bed, I feel that warmth on the back of my neck again. Slow, steady, patient, and I know it's still standing right behind me, waiting for me to look. My mom was at work. So who was the woman I just said goodnight to? I was 11 years old. I've spent every year since trying to forget that night in our house outside Lancaster, Pennsylvania. But some things don't let you forget. Some things follow you home, and they never leave. My mom worked the late shift at a packaging plant off Route 30. Most nights she didn't get home until after midnight. Our little ranch house sat at the end of a gravel road, backed by flat farmland and a thin, dark line of trees. I'd been a latchkey kid since 3rd grade. Lock the doors, heat up dinner, homework, bed by 10. That October night, I follow the routine like always. Homework at the kitchen table, microwave mac and cheese, teeth brushed by 9:30. I switch off the living room light and head toward my bedroom. That's when I see her. A figure walks past my bedroom door toward the bathroom. I catch the pale blue of my mom's bathrobe, the one with a frayed belt. Her dark hair pulled back the way she always wears it. "Mom, you're home early?" The figure stops. It doesn't turn around. It just nods. Slowly. Once. Something feels off. The way it moved is too smooth, too quiet. But I'm 11. I'm tired. I say, "Okay, good night," and crawl into bed. Pull the covers up, close my door, fall asleep. I wake at 2 a.m. My phone buzzes on the nightstand. It's my mom. "Hey baby, I'm just leaving work now. I'll be home in about 30 minutes. My whole body goes numb. I sit up in the dark and whisper, "Mom, I saw you come home." I said goodnight to you. You were wearing your robe. Dead silence on the line. Then her voice comes back, trembling. "I'm wearing my robe right now. I never took it off. It's on me. I'm at work. I stop breathing." I look at my bedroom door. It's open. I closed it before I fell asleep. I know I did. Down the dark hallway, I can just make out the bathroom door. Hanging on the hook is a bathrobe. Pale blue, frayed belt. My mother's robe, except she's wearing hers right now, 30 miles away. Mom breaks every speed limit getting home. She finds me locked in my closet, gripping a kitchen knife I don't remember grabbing. She holds me for a long time, without saying a word. Then she walks to the bathroom. She sees the robe on the hook. "We only own one," she says. Her voice is flat, but there are two now, identical. She takes the one from the hook and immediately drops it. It's ice cold, not cool, cold like it's been buried in the ground. And it smells like soil. Deep, wet, black earth. We don't sleep. At dawn, Mom carries the robe to the fire pit in the backyard and burns it. We watch it turn to ash. Neither of us speaks. The next morning, I step out onto the front porch to check the mail. The ashes are there. Not in the fire pit, on the porch. Arranged carefully, pressed into the shape of a handprint. The fingers are too long, too narrow, not quite human. My mum sees it from the doorway. Her face goes white. She sweeps it away without a word. She never talks about that night again. We moved out of that house within the month. My mom packed everything in 2 days and drove us to my grandmother's place in Bethlehem, about an hour east. Years later, in college, I finally asked her what she thought had been in our hallway that night. She looked at me with an expression I'll never forget. Half anger, half fear, and said, "I don't think about it. And you shouldn't either. But I do, every night, because sometimes, right as I start to drift off, I hear footsteps in the hallway outside my room. Soft, slow, familiar, and they stop right outside my door. Some things wear a familiar face, just to get close to you. And the worst part isn't that they get in. It's that you hold the door open for them. I still check the hook on my bathroom door every single night before I go to sleep. Most nights there's nothing there. I said most nights. The voice calling my name from downstairs was perfect, except my parents had been dead for 3 days in the hospital, and I was supposed to be at my aunt's house. I was 10 years old, and I almost ran toward it. I grew up outside Dayton, Ohio, split-level house, oak tree in the front yard. In October of 1997, my parents were in a car accident on I-75, coming home from Cincinnati. My mother died on impact. My father was in a coma at Miami Valley Hospital. Machines breathing for him. I was sent to stay with my Aunt Carol 20 minutes away, but 3 nights in, I couldn't take it. I missed my house. I missed my bed, so I climbed out her guest room window and rode my bike home in the dark. Let myself in with the spare key. The house was cold. I didn't turn on the lights. I crawled into bed and pulled the covers to my chin. I fell asleep for maybe an hour. Then I hear it, my father's voice, from the kitchen downstairs. "Son, come down here." My whole chest seizes, not from fear, from hope. "Dad's home. Dad's okay." I throw the blanket off, and my feet hit the floor. Then I stop, because I remember. My father hasn't spoken in 3 days. He's in a hospital bed with a tube down his throat. He can't say my name. He can't say anything. My hands go cold. The voice calls again. "Son, I'm in the kitchen. Come eat." It's perfect. The exact tone, the exact rhythm, the way he always stretches the word come. Just slightly. I know that voice better than any sound on earth. And that's what makes it wrong. I press my back against the headboard. I pull out the flip phone my aunt gave me and text her, "Someone is in the house." Then I wait. The house is so quiet, I can hear my own heartbeat. The voice moves. It comes from the living room now, closer. "Son?" Then from the bottom of the stairs, I hear the second step creak, the one that always groans under weight. "Son, come down. I made your favorite." I press my hand over my mouth. I'm crying, but I can't make a sound. I stare at the door, waiting. My aunt called 911. She got to the house in 11 minutes. Police were already inside by then. They searched every room, every closet, the attic, the basement. Nothing. No one. No forced entry, no footprints, no open windows. They told my aunt I must have had a nightmare, but on the kitchen table, a plate, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, green beans, my father's favorite meal, still warm, steam still rising off it, cooked perfectly, in a kitchen that had been dark and empty for 3 days. The officers had no explanation for it. Neither did anyone else. My father died that same night at Miami Valley Hospital. Time of death 12 a.m. The exact minute the voice first called my name. But I need to take you back. Before the sirens, the voice moves halfway up the stairs. Then it's right outside my door. I can hear breathing through the wood. Slow, patient. Then it changes. It isn't just calling my name. It's crying, softly, the way my father cried the night he told me my grandmother had passed. Quiet sobs, trying not to scare me. And I want to open that door. My hand is on the knob, because what if it really is him? What if he came home, one last time, to say goodbye? Then I hear sirens. The breathing stops. Whatever was on the other side of my door is gone. I never open it, and I will never know if I should have. I'm 37 now. I live in Portland, Oregon. I sleep with the light on every night. My aunt sold the house in 2003. The new owners moved out after 8 months. They didn't say why. I never asked. Some nights when the apartment is very quiet, I hear the second stair creak. Just once, then nothing. And I wonder if he's still waiting outside some door, waiting for me to let him in. If you've ever heard someone you love call your name from a place they couldn't possibly be, don't answer. Or maybe do. I don't know anymore. Because sometimes the dead don't say goodbye. They say, "Come down here." My grandmother had been dead for 6 months, but I know her hands. I know her perfume. I know her voice, and she tucked me in that night. I was 9 years old, living with my mom in a small house in Covington, Kentucky, just south of Cincinnati, right across the river. My grandmother raised me in that house. She cooked every meal. She walked me to school. She sang hymns while she folded laundry. When she died of a stroke that October, the whole house went quiet, like the walls themselves were grieving. 6 months later, I still couldn't sleep most nights. I'd lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, whispering her name into the dark. My mom worked late shifts at the hospital, so 3, maybe 4 nights a week. I was alone from 8 until midnight. One night in April, I'm lying there crying quietly, missing her so badly. It aches. Then I feel it. A hand stroking my hair. Slow, gentle, exactly the way she used to do it. And then lavender, her perfume, that specific lavender oil she bought from a little shop in Lexington. I'd know it anywhere. A voice whispers, "Shh, go to sleep, baby. Grandma's here." I don't open my eyes. Part of me is terrified, but a bigger part doesn't want it to stop. Their hand is warm, real. I fall asleep faster than I have in months. The next morning, I tell my mom. She goes pale, sets down her coffee, walks straight to my room. On my pillow, a single white hair, long, coarse. My grandmother's, and my blanket is tucked in exactly the way Grandma always did it. Left side folded under first, then the right, top folded down in a neat triangle. My mom used to tease her about it. No one else tucked blankets that way. Mom doesn't say much. She just stares at the bed for a long time. Then she quietly closes the door. For a week, nothing happens. I start to wonder if I dreamed it. Part of me hopes I didn't. Then it comes back. Same perfume, same hand on my hair, same voice, "Go to sleep, baby." But something is different. The hand feels heavier. The lavender smells sharper, almost chemical. And beneath her voice, I hear something else. A low hum, like another voice, running underneath hers. I know I shouldn't, but I open my eyes. The figure standing over my bed looks like my grandmother. Same housecoat, same silver hair, but its eyes are completely black. No whites, no iris, just dark, wet voids, staring down at me. Its mouth is stretched too wide, far wider than any human mouth should go. And it's no longer stroking my hair. Its hand has gone still, ice cold. It leans close. The voice that comes out isn't hers anymore. It's deeper, layered, like several people whispering the same words at slightly different speeds. "I'm not your grandmother, but she let me in when she left." I scream, the kind of scream that tears your throat raw. My mom crashes through the door. The light flicks on, nothing. The room is empty, but the lavender hangs thick in the air, and my blanket is tucked in again. Left side, right side, triangle fold, perfect. Like something wanted us to know. It was real. We moved out within the month, stayed with my aunt in Louisville while my mum found us a new place. I didn't sleep without a light on until I was 15. Some nights, I still can't. Mom never listed that house. She just left it. A family moved in the following year through a rental listing. They lasted 2 weeks. The mother told a neighbor the same thing. An elderly woman standing over her child's bed at night, watching, smiling too wide. That lavender, I catch it sometimes, in grocery stores, in waiting rooms, and every single time, my whole body goes cold, because I know what wore that scent last, and it wasn't my grandmother. I don't know what that thing was. I don't know if my grandmother let it in, or if it just slipped through whatever door opened when she left. but I know it's still in that house, still wearing her face, still tucking children in at night. If stories like this get under your skin, subscribe, and maybe leave a light on tonight, because some things don't need a door to get in. They just need someone to leave one open.